Do you want your small business to appear in Google's AI overviews? In the following tutorial, we'll explain step by step how to get featured in AI summaries and prevent your traffic from plummeting. All is not lost, but only if you apply these key tips right now. First of all, I'd like to ease your fears. Yes, Google's AI overviews and ChatGPT's responses are truly revolutionary. They're causing organic traffic to plummet by up to 60%, and users are getting used to changing how they search for information online. But if you've been doing things right for the past few years, the same strategy you were using for your SEO will get you onto ChatGPT, AIOs, or any other conversational search interface. Traditional SEO isn't broken, and we don't need to invent a new manual for AI with flashy acronyms like GEO or AIO. The real problem is that many still haven't fully understood what SEO has meant over the last decade. And that's where the difference lies between doing it right or being stuck not in 2020, but in 2010. But what's wrong with the old, crusty SEO that's focused solely on keywords? We'll tell you right now. What you need to understand is that if you were already working with clear, structured, and accessible content that was aligned with search intent and designed for featured snippets and rich results, you were already doing SEO for AI and you didn't even know it. It's just one more change among the many that SEO has undergone throughout its history, and we only need to look back a little to understand that this isn't something new. Since 2013, Google has been laying the groundwork for what we see today in AI overviews. Hummingbird introduced semantic search, interpreting meanings and not just words. In 2014, unlinked brand mentions added digital reputation as a key factor. That same year, featured snippets appeared, and surprise, the way to structure text that works for AIO today is the same as what works for featured snippets. And a year later, RankBrain introduced machine learning to understand complex searches and take semantic search to another level. In 2018, with BERT, Google learned to capture the nuances and context of language. And with the application of information gain, it began to reward original content that brought something new to the table. Finally, with MUM in 2021 came the multimodal and cross-language leap that connects formats and languages. If any of this sounds at all familiar, you can rest easy, because the bottom line is that AIOs aren't a complete break from SEO, but a logical evolution of this entire journey. But let's get to the point. How can you make your small business stand out in this new context? Follow these steps. Step 1, follow Google's advice. The first thing a small business that wants to succeed in this new context should do is not invent a new form of SEO or chase after magic shortcuts. There are no tricks here, but you can follow the key points from the guide Google has created for AI overviews and AI mode. Take good note of the following tips. 1. Create content for people. Stop thinking about how to stuff in keywords, trying to trick Google. What matters is much simpler, clearly meeting real needs. AI models expand user questions into multiple subqueries. Therefore, it's best to prepare self-contained paragraphs that directly and unambiguously answer your customers' real questions. 2. Make your content accessible and semantic. Make it easy for the AI. Use hierarchical headings H1, H2, H3, lists, tables, and have clean HTML. Make sure an AI can access your content. Check that the main content isn't in JavaScript and that your firewall isn't blocking it. 3. Don't forget about page experience. Just as Google evaluates the page experience for users who land via the 10 blue links, it will do the same for results that come from the AI. 4. Use accurate structured data with schema. Mark up products, services, FAQs, or a local business, but only if they are visible on your page. My advice for now is not to do this just for the AI, as it doesn't seem to have an impact. Many AIs don't read scripts or process the DOM like a normal browser would. 5. And remember that search is already multimodal. It's not just about text. Accompany your content with relevant images and videos. Keep your merchant center and your Google business profile updated. Step 2. Work with the right tools. Now that you know what Google wants, it's time to take it a step further. Measure your impact at every moment. There's no point in doing all of the above if you don't analyze how it's performing. So you must have the right tools for each case. We'll tell you which ones. The first thing you need to do is separate your analysis. On one hand, you have to analyze what happens in Google's AI mode or AI overviews, and on the other, what happens in LLMs like ChatGPT, Gemini, or Perplexity. In Google, the starting point is in Search Console. If you see that your website maintains the same average position, even with more impressions, but your click-through rate drops suddenly, you have your signal. Google is showing an AI block above your result. This means that the user is already finding the answer before clicking on your page. To better verify this, you can use tools like Sistrix or Ahrefs, which tell you in which searches an AI summary appears and whether your website is cited or not. If a key query for your business has an AIO active and your competitors appear, but you don't, you know where to start. Keep in mind that in queries like best restaurants or best insurance, what matters is consensus, that several reputable and current sites mention your business. That's why it's very important to appear in comparisons, lists, and industry media. This is what increases your chances of being cited in AI summaries. And what about ChatGPT or Gemini? The logic is similar. When these AIs search for information in real time, they usually start with the same pages that Google already has at the top. That means that if you want to be in their answers, your priority remains the same, to be well positioned in Google or Bing and with content that is easy to cite. However, there's a key detail. AIs are very volatile. Today they cite you and tomorrow you disappear. A study showed that up to 60% of the websites that appear change every month. That's why it's useless to run one-off tests by entering queries into ChatGPT. The results change too much. What you need is to look at trends and data at scale, not at an isolated example. Step 3. Go where artificial intelligence can't. Once you have the basics covered, the next level is to create content that AI can't easily copy or summarize. Although it may seem that artificial intelligence can do everything, there's still room for humans. And that's where you come in. The premise you should always keep in mind is that AI only combines what already exists. So if your company publishes original information that no one else has, you automatically become a source of reference. And what kind of content falls into this? Easy. Your own studies, surveys of your customers, case studies, personalized interviews, opinions from experts in your sector, real experiences that aren't anywhere else. That type of material can't be invented by ChatGPT or Gemini, and they'll have to rely on you if they want to add it. But not just anything will do. This is where depth and context come in. AI is very good at summarizing the basics, but it falters when it comes to detailed explanations, step-by-step guides, or practical advice full of nuances. A generic summary will tell you these are the steps to open a restaurant, but only you can share anecdotes, mistakes you made, and solutions you found along the way. That's what makes the user want to click, and your salvation in the era of AI and SEO in general. Humanity and branding follow the same path. If users associate your content with a clear voice and values, they will remember your brand and search for it directly, which reduces your dependence on Google and makes all AIs see you as a reference source. And if you do it right, you'll reach the final goal, becoming an authority in your niche. If you regularly publish on your core topics, get mentions in media or industry blogs, and demonstrate real experience, Google and AIs will have to trust more in the sources they already consider authoritative. This all sounds great, but you have to be careful about something. Above all, you can't fall into the most common mistake that SMEs make when trying to create content for AIs. Do you know what it is? Filling your entire website with content made by ChatGPT. If you don't have quality control over what you publish and just settle for what the AI gives you, Google will react quickly. It will understand that everything on your page is fluff and will severely harm your visibility. You may have seen certain gurus promoting magic solutions like programmatic SEO to leverage AI for your SEO. But none of that. Here, only real work works, and AI knows that better than anyone. So then, what can you do to get started? Before you go crazy planning the digital future of your SME, start with the basics. Activate a strategy for specific and detailed local reviews on your Google business profile. Why? Because in very specific searches, like finding an emergency dentist in your neighborhood or a gym with specific classes, AI highlights local results with more reviews. The more reviews you accumulate, the better your chances of appearing. The important thing is not to stand still. Act as soon as possible. Your rivals are also looking for ways to improve their SEO strategy to get into artificial intelligence. And spoiler alert, many of them have almost unlimited resources to do so. But if you follow our advice, you'll keep growing without spending a fortune, at least for today. And what about tomorrow? In our next video, we'll explain what the coming months will look like for artificial intelligence, how SEO will evolve, and what paths companies can take to ride the wave. Because even though it seems like a lot has changed, in reality AI is only at the beginning of what it can achieve.